Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar vs. Trevor here. I am joined by Sam, and we are talking about the new Ridley Scott film, Napoleon. There's been a lot of talk about historical accuracy, and here's my take on this. It doesn't matter because the movie was boring. So,
Honestly, I don't really care about historical accuracy in movies unless
I don't
it's like really bad.
next goal wins. Sorry. But I don't really care about that. We aren't going to talk about that because it's meaningless. We also aren't going to talk about his takes on superhero movies because, like, so guess what? That also doesn't matter. He made a movie. We're going to talk about the movie. Unfortunately, the film isn't great, and I really think that Ridley Scott is like very hit or miss. I'm not a fan of him in general. Even the things that like you're supposed to like Gladiator, don't really love.
Yeah,
Alien,
I'm historically not
later.
known for being a Gladiator fan. I don't know if you've seen me talk about the Oscars
Yeah.
on any YouTube video ever, but I'm not hesitant when talking about that movie.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. We aren't the big like I thought House of Gucci was awful. I thought Last Duel was like kind of good,
It's fine.
but with where we're at with this, it is just a slog. It is a mess. It doesn't really know what it wants to be.
It
It's
doesn't say anything. It
painfully
doesn't do
broad.
anything.
It's painfully
It's
broad.
honestly kind of sad to watch.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just so
And here's the
lifeless
thing.
and, like, humdrum, and everyone was so lazy, and it just feels so
It felt
phoned
phoned in.
in.
Yep. And like here's the thing. The one thing that I will say, it is probably unintentionally, maybe intentionally, very, very funny. Just all of the bits of like Joaquin Phoenix just being the most pathetic little weirdo with Vanessa Kirby. Like those bits are actually like kind of fun.
There's a sex scene in this movie that made me laugh, like, I don't know why, but it was really
I think we know
weird.
that. Yeah.
Like,
And he
what?
did the same thing with House of Gucci, where there's that one sex scene where it's really funny and crazy, and that should be the energy for the entire film.
No, it
Like
was
that in the
crazy.
transition House of Gucci where Jared
And
Leto
then
like
Joaquin
mouths him like a
Phoenix is
car.
after, like,
Like
furiously pounding Vanessa Kirby, is just, like, pats his hand on her shoulder and goes, "That'll be good enough to make a baby," word for word, and it is so weird, like, I don't know.
but like that's what the film should have been. It should have committed to the camp. But then it has like this but like it has these like massive like scope and massive scale of like these battles and things that like
But they kinda come from nothing, like, they just
they
happen.
come from nothing. They just happen. It's just like because history, and then these just have to happen because timelines. And but like that isn't what was interesting about it. There was absolutely there was no motivation behind any of the battles. They didn't represent anything thematically. They like the interesting part of this film was his relationship with Vanessa Kirby, and that's where it was like weird and kind of campy, and that's what the performances were playing into. Like I don't like that. That's what I want. But we can't go from that into like this 20-minute battle scene where a horse is getting shot through the fucking neck. Like I don't it's such a weird, strange tonal balance that like I want to watch a weird Napoleon movie about Joaquin Phoenix playing like a goofy dumbass Napoleon. Like that would have been fun. And
Especially
it's
since
like
his accent is so obviously just Joaquin Phoenix talking normally. Like, everyone else in the
yeah,
movie has a British or French accent. Like, I get why the movie isn't in French, but Joaquin
yeah,
Phoenix just talks like Joaquin Phoenix, and it's the most out of place, weird thing. Like, you can't take anything he says seriously because of it. And that's the issue with
yeah,
the movie, because it's not campy enough to be fun, but it's not like
yeah,
serious enough to be real. So it's kind of this weird in between that doesn't really do anything, and it's kind of frustrating.
yeah. And it also like just doesn't say anything about Napoleon as a
No,
figure.
no,
Like
nothing. Like, absolutely nothing.
like Joaquin's trying to do some shit with his performance, but like Ridley gives him absolutely nothing, nothing in the writing, nothing in the direction. There's nothing motivated behind this character. This character doesn't have any like like thematically interesting things at play in their mind aside from Joaquin tries to put on. But again, it just feels like a collection of like Wikipedia pages in sequential order. And the only time the film has fun or like has any sense of life is when Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby have their like weird chemistry together. So and the thing is, but the thing
There's a
is that
lot
like,
of this movie. I honestly don't know what most of this movie is doing. Like, I can't, like, thinking about it now,
yeah,
like, what happened during most of this movie? Because honestly, it didn't feel that
it's so
long. Like, it
unmemorable.
didn't.
No, it
Like, I don't
didn't.
even know if it felt like it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. I just, like, did anything really happen?
It just kind of washed over me, and I felt
Right,
nothing.
same. It's kind of a fever dream now that I think about it.
It's so lifeless, and like the color grading doesn't help the way that it's shot. Like it's so flat, it's so dull. The lighting is like really,
The
really
music is
strange.
also bad.
Yeah.
Like, the
Uh,
music was weird.
it's just it feels really
The
stuck in the
editing, score,
past.
performances, and direction all kinda wanted to do different things.
Yeah, and again, this feels like a film that would be made, like, in the '90s. Like, it feels so unmodern, in the worst way possible because, like, it just I don't know, it feels like a lot of different movies in one, as you said. It everything feels, like, kind of at odds with itself. And yeah, it just gives you absolutely nothing to work with, like, at
No.
all. I don't know, the battle scenes are, like, kinda fun, but, like, again,
And
just
that
in a
those
breath of
sex scenes are crazy.
Yep. But, like, again, what is it fully doing? Like, what are those battle scenes doing? I don't know. I don't know.
Uh,
Vanessa Kirby was fun.
fine.
I I wish she had more to do, honestly.
I
Like,
know.
I thought that she was one of the more interesting points of the film.
But her and Joaquin are in different movies when they're acting together.
Like I said, they have this weirdly bizarre chemistry, I feel, where,
It is
like,
weird.
they kind of work in the way that, like, if you took 2 characters from a like, different CW shows and plot them together, they, like, kind of work, but neither of them are good. And that's what it kind of felt anytime they were on screen together.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
This
I
movie
don't
had
know.
such a big budget, like, there were so many sets and extras and big scenes,
It's massive.
but it also isn't. Like, it's also kinda
But
small, like, weirdly.
it's massive, but it's kinda small, but it wants to be big. And it's
But it
again,
also doesn't
everything
wanna it, like, wants to be intimate, but it
right.
also, like, wants to be big.
It's so confused and everything feels so contradictory. It's just kinda it is really just like a mess of a film. It is so all over the place and, like, there are glimpses of fun,
It
but then you
teases
just
you.
yeah, it teases, but it just amounts to nothing. Like, it's really kind of a it's a mess, and I don't it isn't a slog. Like, again, it doesn't really feel its runtime. It doesn't feel like it drags. It's just a collection of, randomly occurring things that really have no connection to each other than that they happened in real life with these historical figures. But like what's attempting to be drawn here other than
Yeah.
just educating us about random bits of Napoleon's life?
It's like a Wikipedia page turned into 2-hour, 40-minute TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I saw a funny Letterboxd review that said I'm waiting for Sofia Coppola's Josephine, which I thought was great.
That would be so
It would be
good.
so good though.
That's
Like
not funny, that's, like, accurate, like,
someone called Sophia.
yeah, I feel like she could do that.
It'd be good.
That's
Just let
so, like,
Sophia do
Sophia
biopic.
core.
Let
Yeah.
Sophia and Pablo Larraín do all the biopics. Anyways, let's briefly talk about awards. I don't think that we have anything to scores. 3.
3.
Cool. Moving on
I
to
think
award.
that it could get a production design nomination or,
Yeah.
like, something like that,
Production
maybe.
designer costumes, like, maybe. I think Joaquin could, like, maybe show up at Golden Globes drama just because they're doing 6 nominations and it's split into drama and comedy. Like, maybe he can show up at Golden Globes drama because he's Joaquin Phoenix and he's playing Napoleon.
Yeah. Well, I wanna
Craig
just
Boyce
address something that
not
I
do
mentioned
production
to
designer
you.
costume.
I wanna mention something that I talked to you about the other day. It's, like, kinda like this weird biopic problem. Like,
Yeah.
Napoleon, Naiad,
Rustin.
Rustin, what else? Ferrari that I saw, like,
Yeah.
all of these movies kinda
And a lot of them,
confused,
I haven't
weird. They don't feel
I haven't seen
we've gotten to the point that they know that this kinda movie, like, is what, like, can get Oscars, to the point where they don't even feel like movies.
Yeah, yeah, and, like, I haven't seen Ferrari, so I can't speak on that, but a lot of them, they just feel very flat. They don't feel like they have an identity as a film. They feel like their entire identity as a film is, like, the historical figure, whereas I feel like to make a truly great biopic and a truly great historical, picture is, like, you have to construct an identity around the film and themes and all these types of things that just fit in with the characters, like, Oppenheimer is a good example. Spencer is a fantastic
Priscilla.
example. Priscilla, great example because all of these they feel like great films that could have
Yeah,
existed and could stand on their own without the historical figure, and then it just happens to have a historical figure behind it. But like Napoleon isn't interesting if that isn't Napoleon. Rustin isn't that
yeah,
interesting if it isn't about Rustin and Martin Luther King shows up. Same thing with Naiad, like, right? These things aren't that interesting as films. The films aren't good, like, unless you have that context. Whereas something like Oppenheimer, something like Priscilla, so, like, those are interesting stories on their own. Something like Spencer,
I know.
right? And that's really the difference. And it's just like, what's it? Trying. Sorry, but like it is just really like trying to construct an actual piece of cinema rather than just doing like historical shit.
I
Watch
know.
please.
I honestly think that's why, like, the Weird Al movie is, like, low key one of the best biopics of the last 10
Yeah, because
years.
it feels like an actual film that would
Yeah,
work
it
in
doesn't it isn't
in
really
real
concerned
yeah,
about awards, which is, like, the issue with these movies because you can tell that
yeah,
that's their number one priority. I'm fine with a movie wanting awards. Like, I
yeah,
think that, like, a movie like Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, like, they won awards, but that's not their top priority, and you can tell.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That is really what it is. But as far as Napoleon for awards, like I said, production and costumes, maybe Joaquin Phoenix shows up somewhere, but
but
this
won't
probably
be
won't get a
best
single
picture.
nomination. I wouldn't be predicting it for anything. Critics' Choice will probably nominate it for something because they're the Critics' Choice. And
It
like
won't get
maybe BAFTA does
BAFTA.
something. Maybe BAFTA does it for something.
I don't
Like a
think so.
tick. The BAFTAs are weird though, and it's British technically. Just saying. Anyways, this isn't going to be that important for the award season, and it just isn't a great film in general. And I don't know, Ridley. You can do your
He's been getting so
thing.
much money from Hollywood recently. Like, my god, these studios are giving him so much money.
Yeah.
The last 3 of his movies combined have cost, like, almost $400,000,000. The budgets of those movies, you could make hundreds of independent films. Like, think about it.
Yeah. So on that note, on that sad, depressing note, thank you everybody for watching our review of Napoleon. Those are our thoughts on the film. You can let us know your thoughts in the comments below. You can also follow us on social media in the links in the description. But until next time, thank you everybody again for watching. Stay safe and goodbye.